It says here that soldiers are quitting in their thousands despite Labour's pay rise. It doesn't seem to have occurred to Labour, well, it wouldn't, would it, that people fight for other reasons than money, don't they? Why would soldiers fight to preserve what's going on in our country right now? I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. So the article continues. The armed forces are shrinking despite a 6% increase and retention payments. And then it carries on. Soldiers are quitting the armed forces at an alarming rate despite a pay rise over the summer. For the first time on record, there are now just 2 servicemen or women per 1,000 people in Britain. Some 15,119 left the armed forces in the year to October. Of these, 7,778 were counted as voluntary outflow, those choosing to leave of their own accord. The forces recruited just over 12,000 personnel in the same period, resulting in a net shrinkage of the military. Soldiers are leaving despite the government's attempt to stem the recruitment crisis with a 6% pay rise. So why should soldiers fight in the first place? Being a soldier isn't that comfortable. It's a tough life, and however well paid it is, it's still tough. You have to pick up a gun to shoot other people, and you know you are going to get shot at as well. You'll be freezing your toes off in some snowscape or be eaten by bugs in a jungle. However well paid you are, that's not fun. There has to be another reason to do that. And that reason is a wish to protect your country, your people, your culture, your way of life. A feeling you have to do that, the feeling that your country is a good place and needs to be preserved. A feeling that, it was G.K. Chesterton who said it, wasn't he? A feeling that you love the people behind you more than you hate the people in front of you. Now we have to think, who are the people behind you when you're a soldier for His Majesty the King? How much of it do you love? I was filled with outrage about the way my fellow Brits were treated after the Southport disturbances, for instance, and they were treated that way by our government and also by our supposedly independent judiciary. There was no, we use the word common purpose. I mean, the police took that one over. But there was actually no true common purpose at that time, was there? Not the real thing. There was only them and us. That was the feeling. There were people who might have made mistakes, who might have shot off their mouths on Facebook, but whose love for this country cannot be denied. People like Julie Sweeney here, or Peter Lynch. So what would I be protecting if I became a soldier? The government? Do I want to protect them? Don't make me laugh. We all know about the government. Even the left-wing media make sophisticated, knowing jokes about the lies this government says. And this government does it. And for instance, the BBC are not broadcasting that song, Freezing This Christmas, even though I think it's number 1 in the download charts. They are supporting the Starmer government by suppressing that cry of protest. they don't even care that they're found out because they know they have the media in their pockets. And the elite are just happy that what's happening is happening to the working classes and not to them. And actually, that reminds me of a joke I recently heard about Starmer. So I'll tell it to you now. He decides he wants to look like he's talking to the people. So he gets the BBC cameras and everything, and they all trot off to a nice little village somewhere out in the countryside. And Starmer has the parish council there in front of him. And he asks the assembled throng, well, what do you need here? And the mayor says, well, we do have a health clinic here, but since the last doctor got abruptly retired from life by a Welsh choir boy, we don't have a permanent doctor anymore. There's just a series of locums that keep turning up every week. And Starmer says, oh, yeah, that's not very nice, is it? And that's something I can deal with right now. And he pulls out his mobile phone. And then he spends a few minutes talking with a serious expression on his face on the phone. And then he puts the phone back in his breast pocket and he says, I've spoken to my cabinet secretary and he's going to make sure you have a doctor here by next week, or at the very latest by next month. And he beams at the parish council and they all clap politely. And then the mayor says, there's just one more thing, Sir Keir. Can you fix one more problem if it's as easy as that? I'll do my best, says Starmer. What is it? Pulls out his phone again. Well, says the mayor, since the transmitter mast was blown over in the last storm, we don't have any mobile phone coverage in this area. OK, but back to why soldiers would fight. Would they feel inspired to fight for a man like that? Because that might be a joke, but yeah, it's got a lot of truth in it, hasn't it? Would they fight for a government that imprisons its own people for wrongthink rather than wrongdoing? A government that bullies the citizens, that makes up stories about them and feeds the stories to the media, which lap the stories up. A government that kowtows to foreign and often antagonistic cultures within our own borders. Right, hang on. I think it's time for a little son et lumière here.
The other big issue facing Londoners, particularly Londoners of Islamic faith, is the issue of housing. And so we need to build far more homes in our city because, often people from minority communities want to live near a mosque, near halal food, near places where there are other people like them. So they for a variety of obvious reasons. And they're priced out because there's not enough housing. So we're going to build at least 40,000 council homes, at least 6,000 rent control homes. And the final thing to say in relation to Londoners who are Muslim is, look, one of our strengths is our diversity. It's something I'm really proud of. I've organised, since I've been mayor, events like Eid on the Square, Ramadan lights and so forth.
He said you've got to have a halal shop around you, you've got to have a mosque around you, you've got to have all of these other things. Well, that to me just doesn't suggest that you are coming here to integrate. It means you're coming here in order to be separate.
And the thing is that we're told time and time again that it is people who are ethnic minorities and people of certain faiths who are the disadvantaged ones that need extra help from the state, when often the least privileged people in this country are white working class Brits.
Let's continue. A government that lets in millions, literally millions of migrants who hate us. And sit in, and while they're hating us, they're sitting in comfort in hotels, which we're paying for, while veterans, those soldiers, these ones here, the soldiers I was talking about before, while veterans die in tents in car parks. More son et lumière.
What's he look like? Being a nuisance to society?
Being a nuisance to society?
Yes.
Do you know how long I've been helping that man there?
Right, well, can you stop videoing, please? It's very disrespectful.
I'm videoing it for journalism, mate, to let the
Well,
public
you've been
know
very
what's going on.
disrespectful.
I'm being disrespectful.
You are indeed.
Don't shine that light in my eye, mate.
Very disrespectful.
Don't shine a light in that my eye, mate.
You need to leave.
No, I don't need to leave, mate.
You do, you've been very disrespectful.
I'm being disrespectful. This is a world we've come to, yeah? Where you only come out when people die, mate, in tens. Where was his support, right, for the last 6 months?
Well, can you stop videoing him whilst we try and give him some dignity? 'Cause you're being
Give him some
very
dignity. Give him some dignity. He's been on the streets rotting, mate, for months. No one gave him dignity, then did there? No one cared about him, then did there? What?
You now wish to video and post it on the internet.
Post on the internet. So what? So the mainstream media being here filming this, you've not said nothing to them, but I'm being disrespectful.
You are now, yeah.
I've been helping this guy for months. Are you taking a
You're
piss?
not helping him by videoing.
I'm like, you're taking a piss, mate.
I'm not, you've been very disrespectful.
Mate,
Can
you're
you
taking a
stop
piss.
videoing?
No, I can't. You're gonna met me. You're gonna met me.
This second now.
Shining torches in my face, mate. Trying to threaten me, yeah?
I'm not threatening you,
There's a
you're
man
being
dead
disrespectful.
there. That
So
should have
yeah.
been helped.
So why are you videoing it?
Well, to let the public know what the state of this country's
The
in.
public wish to see that today.
Public wish to see what today? We're about to, it's Christmas. Christmas, mate. Where was his help? Why are you getting police backup now?
They've asked-
Hey, what do you a joke, mate? Look at the state of this country. Do you even know his name? Do you even know his name? Yeah. Where was his help for him? Hey, where was the help for him? The country's country, isn't it?
The name of the man in the tent, by the way, was John Finch. I'll leave a link to that clip in the description. That's why and oh, by the way, John Finch was a veteran. But after he left the army, there were no hotel settlements for him. He was in a tent in the car park and obviously being looked after by the neighbours who'd bring him food, I suppose. That's why the young people are leaving the army and young people are not enlisting or re-enlisting. If I were being asked to fight, whom would I be fighting for? Just contrast that with what we all saw after the October 7th pogrom in Israel. Israelis who were living abroad, comfortable lives, obviously earning well in countries all over the world. They were streaming into Israel. The airline literally ran out of seat room for them. And they were camping out in airports waiting for their flights because those people knew what they were fighting for. What do young British people fight for? So that some guys in places like Rochdale can stay home and get away with raping working class girls and then receiving unequal justice? No. That's why soldiers are quitting the armed forces. It's that they don't feel they have anything to fight for. The Army, Navy and Air Force have been experiencing a recruitment crisis for the past few years while state bureaucracy has ballooned. Yeah, it's not only the Labour Party's problem, but the Labour Party could fix it and they have just made it worse. The civil service, cut back drastically during David Cameron's time as Prime Minister, is now 4 times the size of the British Armed Forces for the first time. Britain has a public payroll of 543,000 full-time mandarins and 137,000 regular troops. Right. Well, I think I've solved that problem. And no amount of throwing money at it will help until these lads and lasses think they actually have something to fight for. They won't come back. And Labour's not helping, are they? Oh, well, we can all join the European army, can't we? That's certainly going to be a reliable fighting force, isn't it? Till next time, you can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.